Hey YouTube, how you guys doing? So I wanted to talk to you guys about med-ers. A couple days ago I was on YouTube and I heard about the RaDonda Vaught trial. If you're not familiar with it, she's a nurse. She was an RN. She was from Tennessee. She worked in Vanderbilt Medical Center, which was a hospital. She was on the neuro ICU floor, and she was a respected nurse there. The nurse educator was on this trial. She said she was a respected nurse. She was a preceptor, which means she trained new nurses. So she was a good nurse, and she, at the end of the day, she made a med error. It turned out to be a deadly med error, a fatal med error. And I'm sorry to say, she was charged criminally, as if she was a criminal. Now, the charges kind of fit. Do I think nurses need to be charged as criminals and go to jail with career criminals like drug dealers, rapists, murderers? I don't think so. This nurse was a good nurse who made a horrible med error. She literally she dropped the ball in so many instances, and let me just explain what happened to the best of my knowledge. She was on the fifth floor, I believe, fifth or sixth floor. Got a call from the primary nurse for this patient, and the primary nurse said, "Look, so-and-so, I need you to give my patient Versed. The order is blah, blah, blah." Now, I don't know if taking a verbal order from another nurse is acceptable in the hospital. Like, I'm not a hospital nurse. I don't know. So she took the order, went to the PIXIS, which was in a high traffic area, as the nurse educator on trial said. She got to the PIXIS and typed in VE for Versed. Vacuronium popped up. She clicked vacuronium, hit override. Took vacuronium out the fridge. Took the vacuronium vial from the 5th or 6th floor to the 1st floor to the PET scan area, because the patient was claustrophobic, about to get a PET scan, so the doctor ordered her Versed, which is a controlled substance. So she then got to the area where the patient was, read the reconstituting directions, was looking at the vial that was actually vacuronium, a paralyzing agent, used in intubations, used in executions. She was looking at this vial to figure out, how do I reconstitute it? Reconstituted it with the wrong solution. Oh my gosh. Gave it to the patient. And even if she thought she was given Versed, there's assessments that need to be done. Even though it's not technically her patient, once you give them med, you're responsible for that patient because you gave them med. You know the assessments that need to be done. So she didn't do them. She didn't assess the patient after giving the med. She left the patient. And at this point, I have to stop and say that my heart is broken for this family who lost their loved one because of this error. And how this patient died, I don't even want to get into it. Oh my gosh. Anyway, so that brings us to, should a nurse be charged criminally? Was she a criminal in this situation? I don't think so. I don't think she was a criminal. I think she was a nurse who was in the wrong. She was in the wrong mindset. She was rushed. She allowed herself to be rushed. She wasn't looking at the medication. She had like tunnel vision for the reconstituting directions, because all she saw, I believe, was a powder. That's all she saw. I see a powder. I need to reconstitute this. And she did. I think that's what happened. Like, I don't think she was not a malicious murderer, but there was about 5 or 6 or 7 opportunities where she could have noticed that what was in her hand was not Versed. It was not a benzodiazepine. And it says on the top of the vial, paralyzing agent. It's tragic. It is truly tragic. And the point of this video is to show you do not want this to be you. I'm going to show you a clip of this expert witness in the trial and how bad they made her look and how bad it was. But I feel like this nurse could have had some sympathy and put it in a way where she was a nurse who made a mistake and like slid that in there to the jury, you know. And you can see how she was just very factual with it and had no sympathy at all. Almost as if the people who hired her was the ones who was trying to find RaDonda guilty. So I'm gonna show you that clip of the trial, okay?
Saying here, red flag, I need sterile water. But apparently she overlooked that, and she then picked up the decuronium and started to inject or mix the decuronium, and you need saline, or as I said, sterile water. But in this case, she's got saline, so she went ahead and injected it. So there's also a little cap on there, so you have to take that cap off. So when you take that cap off, because a paralyzing agent, warning, second red flag, okay? So then you put the needle in.
It says that on the top of the bottle, paralyzing agent.
So you're still seeing it. So you inject the solution in a little saline. You take the needle out. And, well, let me just back up for a minute. She said that she reconstituted it after reading how to reconstitute it on the back of the bottle, okay? So that's the next thing you need to do. It's warning. It says, Dr. Ryan, I'm trying a couple of things, that's just a patient. Decuronium bromide may cause respiratory depression. Third warning, can cause respiratory depression right there on the back of the bottle. So she's still looking at how to reconstitute. So the next line says, reconstituted with supply bacteriostatic water for injection. Oh wait, all I have is normal saline. I don't have bacteriostatic water. Another red flag. Then I look at the front of it. It says decuronium bromide for injection. For use in peppermint, 1 milligram per 1 ml. So that means
Alright, I think we saw enough. You could see how she didn't say, well, let me just go back into the camera. Okay guys, so you can see how she had no interest in defending RaDonda as a fellow nurse. She was not like, oh, she accidentally somehow overlooked the matter. I don't know if she was tired. I don't know if she was rushed. But she accidentally overlooked this vial. What it said on the vial. And she thought maybe she thought that it wouldn't matter that she was injecting normal saline into the vial as instead of what the directions stated as should have been bacteriostatic water, sterile water, I believe. So you don't want that to be you. So that brings us to how do we not make a med error? And it's different in the hospital than in long-term care. So I can't speak on hospital nurses, how they shouldn't, but I could speak on long-term care nurses and our med passes and how heavy they are and how rushed you can feel as you're trying to meet those deadlines an hour before, hour after in PI it is. So I have 27 patients, and that's 4.6 minutes a patient, and that includes popping it, walking to the patient, giving them. It's not enough time. So here's my first suggestion. If your med pass is like mine, all on 9 a.m. basically, then stagger your med pass. See if you can ask your DON or unit manager, hey, can we look at these meds, and along with the doctor and the MP's direction, can we look at these meds and reschedule? So some meds are 8 and 8, some meds are 9 and 9, and some meds are 10 and 10. So then you have all the way till 11 o'clock to pass meds, and you could push certain patients off till 11 o'clock and not have to be done at 10 a.m. Okay, so that's one suggestion. Two, and number one, the most important suggestion I have: take your time. I've watched so many MedPass videos, and the one thing that resonated with me was a safe nurse is better than a fast nurse. I'm not saying all fast nurses who are done their med passes before, the other nurse is not safe. I'm not saying that. Maybe those nurses have a good system and they're focused and they do something that you're not doing. So don't look at that nurse as being unsafe, but keep in mind, if you're fast, be careful. Slow down. Make sure you're being safe. Focus on the patient you're doing. And when you're doing the medications, you have to pull them out the drawer. That's your first step. Put them face down. This is what I suggest. Put them face down. Now, after you go through that patient's whole MAR for, let's say you're on a 9 a.m. med pass, they may have 7 meds. So you have those meds stacked in the blister packs, upside down, and you're taking them out in order. You're not skipping around. So then you shut the drawer because you're done. You got all their meds out. And then you flip them face up and they're in order still. So you go back through the meds before you pop them. Do you have the right patient? Do you have the right med? Do you have the right dose? Because sometimes there's med changes and the old dose is still in the drawer. So do you have the right dose? Take your time. Do you have the right route? Are you giving it the right route? You don't want to go into a PEG tube patient not knowing they have a PEG tube and give it by mouth. Do you have the right route? Is it the right time? And why is this patient getting it? You should know why you're giving a medication. So, do what you gotta do. Okay? Take your time. And the other thing that the courts are recognizing now is fatigue. Nurses fatigue. RaDonda was on her third 12-hour shift as a RN on the floor. Think about 3 12s in a row. She might go home and have a whole family. Like, I don't know her personal life. I don't know if she has kids, a husband. You go home, that's your second shift right there. Like, 3 12s is rough. Do not work if you're too tired and you have no business working. These are people's lives. As you can see from RaDonda, you can literally kill somebody with a med error. Okay? So, take your time and do it right, guys. Like, and if these facilities are too hard on you to get done at a certain time and come down on you, maybe you should go somewhere else. Maybe you should say, look, if this is how it's gonna be, and I'm a couple minutes late on my med pass and you're coming down on me instead of asking me how you can help me, like, maybe it's time for me to go. Maybe you guys don't need me. Maybe I'm a liability to you. Like, you have to stick up for yourself and recognize when you're in a situation that's unsafe. Unsafe for your license, unsafe for you. For your patients. Like, it's ridiculous. We don't always have to take what's handed, and that when you have that feeling of, I'm rushed, I have to make it, I have to be on time, and oh my God, and you're like popping fast and walking to the patient fast, and you're like so tense and stressed, and just take a deep breath and be like, throw the pills out and start over if you have to. Take your time and do it right. That's all we could say. You have the 6 rights for every pill you pop, every pill you put in a cup, every pill you inject, every IV you hang. You have the 6 checks. And then you have to do those 6 checks 3 times. 3 times we learned in school. 6 checks 3 times. That's what it takes to actually not make a med error. And high risk medications involve 2 people. I think I learned in school insulin involves 2 people. Be careful with insulin. If you give too much, that could mean a coma for a patient. Your brain needs glucose. If you give too much and go, oh, they're just sleeping, and later you find them dead, this is real, y'all. This is real. You could literally kill somebody. So you need to check your doses and be careful. Do not let yourself be distracted either. Do not let yourself be distracted. I have told people, I may have come across rude, but it's like, yo, don't talk to me right now. I can't talk right now. In my head, I'm thinking, don't talk to me. Stop. Like, do not let yourself be distracted either. Because at the end of the day, we're a team and we work together and we like each other and we have fun working. But listen, we're not there to have fun. That's not why we're there. We are not there to have fun. We are there to serve these patients and take care of their health problems. So laughing and joking and talking is not important. So don't do it while you're doing your med pass. Do it while you're on break. Talk to your in between med passes. Have conversations if you want. But take your time, y'all. That's all I could say. And let me just cut myself off because I could literally talk all day about this. Probably. there's so much to it. So thank you so much for watching. If you watched this long, and like, comment, and subscribe, I would really appreciate it. I'll talk to you later, guys. Bye.